If you're wanting to lose weight over the next year, then put those New Year's resolutions aside and start taking action on these 12 healthy habits that are going to get you burning fat today. And these are 12 things that I have done to lose 40 pounds and now keep them off for the past 6 years, and to go from someone who was struggling with their weight, even as a healthy vegan for about a decade, who struggled with binging and inconsistency, to now being able to maintain the leanest physique that I have, PB on my pull-ups, and really be in the best shape of my life, even after 2 kids. And it's easy. 90% of people are going to wait until the new year to get started, but the only thing between you and your goal is consistent action, and you need to be taking that now, because the only thing that bridges the gap between who you are today and who you want to be in order to achieve your goal is consistent daily actions, not big goals. So let's talk habits. Habit number 1 is to start eating a pound of vegetables every day. And I've talked about this many times in many different videos, but if you're not doing it, then this is your sign to actually implement it. And here's how to make it so flippin' easy. And these are non-starchy vegetables, things like broccoli, asparagus, tomatoes, capsicum, mushrooms, really anything that you fancy. But the easiest ones are things that you want to eat consistently. So for me, that is broccoli. And now the easiest way to do this is to have a goal to remove that pound of vegetables from a veggie box. So basically, every single day, you want to get out a container and you want to fit in 1 pound of vegetables. You're going to start to learn very quickly that that equals 1 to 2 heads of broccoli, maybe a couple of capsicum. You might want to weigh it out to begin with, but very quickly you're going to learn how to visualize what a pound looks like. And then throughout the day, your sole goal is to remove the veggies from that box by adding them as a side to your food or adding them to your meals themselves. This habit has the biggest impact on your weight loss because it's going to lower your overall calories and mean that you can eat more food for less calories. And because weight loss is really just calories in, calories out, in that you are eating less calories than what you burn, which creates a calorie deficit, which is really the only way that weight loss works, no matter what someone else says. It is the first law of thermodynamics that energy can neither be created or destroyed. Doing that in a manner that allows you to eat more bulk and is also full of micronutrients is the easiest, most effective way to consistently do this. And this is a habit that I've done for the past 6 years. So I've eaten, at this point, like tons, a lot of vegetables. Habit number 2 is to change your environment to make good behaviors easier. Now, this is something that you can do once and that you're going to just need to maintain. So it's a lot of bang for your buck, and you can leave this in video and start it immediately. So this is things like getting a walking treadmill or getting a standing desk. It's one change in environment that makes it easier for you to do the action that is going to help you to have a habit you want to, like burn more calories from standing or walking. And so what I like to do is make it easier for me to follow through on the habit I'm trying to build, but harder to continue the habit that I'm trying to break. So I don't even have a chair in my office so that I literally cannot sit. So I'm always standing or walking. This could be removing sweets or cookies from your counter and adding in a beautiful bowl of fruit. I want to get more sleep to make it easier for me to get up early and get my workout in. So I don't have a charger for my phone in my room, and instead I charge it in my office. This means that as soon as I'm in my room, I can't just doom scroll because my environment is set up for me to sleep. This could look like getting processed food out of your fridge, out of your freezer, out of your cupboard, or at the very least putting it in a very high container so that it's harder for you to get to and less of a visual cue. The more that you make your environment force your behavioral change rather than trying to change through willpower or motivation, the more success that you will see. And as James Clear says, environment is the hidden hand that shapes behavior. So I'd love to hear in the comments, what is one simple environmental change you can make today that is going to make it easier for you to follow through on the things that you are trying to actually do. Number 3 is to add fiber to all of your meals. So you're going to be doing this with your veggies anyway, but you also want to be adding things like whole grains, legumes like lentils, chickpeas, whole foods like potatoes, fruits, vegetables. The more fiber you add to your meals, the more fullness you're going to feel, and typically the lower in calories as well. So I'm always thinking, how can I add more vegetables? How can I add a legume to this? How can I add some whole grains? Feeling fuller and satisfied while also eating less calories is going to mean that you reduce your cravings, which means that you reduce your binging, which means that you get more consistent, which means that you're more likely to not give up on your diet and therefore consistently work towards the goals that you have. Because the biggest problem when it comes to losing weight and keeping it off is not whether your meals are optimized or whether you're following a plan exactly right or you're doing everything perfectly. It's more about your long-term adherence. It's not whether you can do something perfectly for 2 weeks, it's whether you can do something pretty darn good or maybe like 80% for years and then continue to do that for years more and then for the rest of your life. Number 4 is to audit your social media influencers. And this is something that you can go on and do right now. Because if you have a weight loss goal, then you may be following people who make it harder environmentally through what you're looking at to stay consistent to that. So this could be things like following really complicated recipe influencers, or people who are making processed food, having like delicious food show up on your feed, people that are making decadent, beautiful food that doesn't really actually serve you in terms of hitting your goals because it's a distraction. Or you look at someone like I used to do who was making all of the cookies, all of the creamy pastas, all of the things that I wanted to eat, but then they looked really, really skinny. And I was like, how does this work? And it was just flipping confusing. The thing I always ask myself is, does following this person inspire me to be more consistent with the daily actions I need to take in order to reach my goals, or are they a distraction? Do they make me question those daily inputs? And do they make it harder for me to stay consistent? And if the answer to that is yes, then maybe put them on mute for a while. What you say no to in distractions is going to be just as important as what you say yes to. Which brings me to my fifth habit, which is to start saying no more. And there's a phrase that I absolutely love, which is that there are no social obligations, there are only social consequences. And a lot of the time, the reason that we don't like saying no to something is that we feel that we have a social obligation to say yes. Whether that is going out for drinks with friends, eating food that your mother-in-law puts on your plate, saying yes because someone made you something that they want you to eat, especially leading up to a holiday time or Christmas. There can feel like there's so much pressure to eat in a certain way, to say yes to certain events, like going out to eat, or feeling like you can't bring food with you because that would be weird. You do not have to do anything that you don't want to do. You are allowed to say no to going out. And why this is helpful is for me to realize, like, I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do. Yes, there may be consequences to me saying to someone, you know what, no, I don't actually want to go out. Or I'm going to get an early night because I need to get up for the gym in the morning. Or I know that you made this food for me and I really appreciate the gesture, but I'm going to eat the food that I bought for myself. And thank you for respecting that. Normally the consequence to saying no is that you get less of the thing that you don't want anyway, which for me is to be invited places, to be offered food, or for people to expect that I'm going to eat a certain way. I've actually kind of trained people around me that I do what I want to do because I have different goals to most of those people. No social obligations, there are only social consequences. You decide what you get to own. Habit number 6 is to have a potato meal every single day. Why potatoes? Because potatoes are the most satisfying food on the planet. They have the highest satiety index of any food, which means that when you eat more of them, you're going to feel very full, very satisfied, more than any other food, and they're very low in calories. A potato is about 400 calories per pound. When you put that into perspective, bread is about 1,500 calories per pound, oil is 4,000 calories per pound. That means that for about 5 potatoes, you would only be eating about 450 to 500 calories, and you would be absolutely stuffed. Even if you just ate potatoes, which is what Andrew, also known as Spudfit, did for an entire year, and he lost like over 100 kilos or something crazy like that, and I interviewed him on my podcast a few years ago if you want to go check that out. Like, you would lose weight just eating potatoes because they are so satisfying, they are so low in calories that you literally cannot overeat on them. So eat one meal per day that is predominantly potato focused. And so for me, what I do is I do tofu, I do broccoli, and I do either potato or sweet potato. It doesn't matter if it's potato, sweet potato, they're pretty much the same. In terms of calories, sweet potato just like tastes like a million times better in my opinion. And I eat that same lunch every single day, and it keeps me super satisfied. Number 7 is another environmental change that forces behavior, and that is really just to stop shopping at the supermarket. It's just so easy to impulse buy and to go down aisles and look at like new vegan products, or to just impulse buy if you're hungry. Do you know, here's a little fun side quest fact, that the real estate and the checkout aisle is the most expensive real estate in the entire supermarket. So products that have like the highest profit margin, that retailers will pay the most for, things like chips and chocolate and snacks, all of those foods are at the checkout because they know you are more likely to buy those foods than anything else, and they give the most profit. Like, supermarkets are not dumb. Chip manufacturers are not dumb. They are going to use environmental behavioral hacks in order to get you to buy the foods that you maybe just didn't really even go there to buy. Even the music that gets played in the wine section influences how much wine someone will buy. If you want to avoid some of that, then one of the easiest ways is to just switch from shopping in person to delivery if it is something that you can do in your area, or if you're in a 2-adult household and you can get that other person to do the shopping for you and make a list, then you're most likely, for most people, going to save money from less impulse purchases, and you're going to be eating healthier as well, which is also going to save you money and it's going to get you to your goals. This is something that has been hugely helpful for me. Number 8 is to build a workout habit that starts with a tiny habit. So a lot of people are going to be entering the new year thinking that they're going to join a gym, and gyms are packed. Like January, everyone joins a gym. But why there is so much drop off there, especially with any kind of working out, is that working out is hard. Building muscle is hard. Doing something consistently is really, really difficult. And intensity is going to feel very, very painful in the beginning, and you're going to lose motivation fast. So there's a way to hack this, and that is through having a first tiny step for your exercise routine and really having that as your only commitment. So what does this look like in practice? That could look like making a commitment to go to the gym 3 days a week, but all you're really committing to is actually walking through the gym doors. Like, you complete that workout habit by completing the first tiny step of it, not by doing an hour-long workout. You can be consistent with that habit, and you can win by just walking through the doors and then walking straight out again. Now, what will happen inevitably, and this has been studied many, many times, is that if you walk through the gym doors, you're most likely going to do a bit of a workout. You might even do your full workout. But what it means is that you are able to consistently build trust in yourself, even on the days where you do literally just go walk through the front door and then walk back out again. And this could look the same for just rolling out a yoga mat if you want to build a yoga habit. It could look like putting on your running shoes if you're wanting to build a habit of being a runner. You decide what the first tiny action is that really is only going to take you 2 to 5 minutes, and you commit to doing that no matter what, so that you don't need motivation, and you start to build trust that you are the kind of person that does the things that they say they are going to do. Because if right now you tell yourself, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to smash out a workout, and you've told yourself that every single New Year's, but you don't have a consistent workout routine where you know that you're going to go 3 to 4 times, or you're going to do the thing every single week for years and years and years, you have to start smaller. You have to build trust in the small things in order to be able to tell yourself that you're going to do the big things and actually believe it and actually follow through on it. So start small, build a teeny tiny workout habit, and then build on it once it's established. Number 9 is to start building component bowls, where you really just get a starch. So that could be potato, rice, beans, any kind of whole grain, and then vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, which you can use from your box, or you can add more as well. You want to have about half and half of those. And then you have some kind of sauce, a little bit of fat on the side, and then maybe like a few like spices and other things to kind of spice it up. But what you're doing here is, rather than following a recipe and always trying to think about, well, do I have every single ingredient? You're just assembling different components, and you're able to mix and match it very, very easily. So I love this, especially for my family, because we all have slightly different preferences. Not only that, my kids need different quantities of different things. So if you are trying to avoid, while you're losing weight, cooking a different meal for every member of the family, if you've got fussy people, if you've got people who are still eating meat or they're eating high calorie foods, this is the easiest way to do it, and it's going to save you a ton of time and make it easier for you to do the actions that are going to get you success. We're all about making things easier so that you can follow through and do it. And if you want to see my 4-step framework for how I make component bowls that are perfect for weight loss, optimized, then I made a free mini course for you, which you can see in the description as well. It is my 6-day Kickstarter, and you're going to learn everything you need to know about actually building these bowls. Number 10 is going to piss some people off, and that is if you don't have a microwave, get one. Because it is going to make your life so much easier, because you're going to use less bowls, you're going to remove obstacles, you're going to find it easier to cook vegetables. So I love my microwave steamer, for example. Like, I use this pretty much every single day. Shove my broccoli in there, shove it in the microwave for like 6 minutes. It's super fresh. The steamer is BPA free, by the way, so it's completely safe. It means I can reheat things really easily. I can cook my oats very, very fast, and I've got less cleanup. And it just makes my life so much easier. And it removes so many barriers to me following through on the behaviors that are going to get me losing weight. One of my favorite things about my microwave is that I can cook potatoes with like zero equipment in like 6 minutes, because I just need to prick them, wrap them in a paper towel, and then put them in the microwave for like 6 minutes. There's even a potato setting on most microwaves. So what have I done when I do this? I've eliminated the need for a tray, a chopping board, waiting for my oven to heat up, and then waiting for like 40 minutes for a potato to cook. So how much more consistent can I be if it only takes me 5-6 minutes to cook a satisfying starch sauce? It means that I have a system that now is safeguarding me against convenience food, because it's now more convenient to cook a potato in the microwave than it is to leave my house to get takeout, and I never have an excuse to not bring food with me. And one of my favorite travel systems, this is another side quest, is a microwave potato, grab my veggie box, grab some hummus, and then I have a super filling meal that I can take on the go that saves me so much money and makes it easy to stay consistent. And by the way, microwaves are so safe. Here's the other thing, the burden of proof in terms of microwave safety is on anyone telling you that they are not safe. Because even the mechanisms that they use to heat up food, which is literally just agitating water molecules, it's so benign. It's like someone saying, oh, walking's not safe, but they're not backing it up with anything real. It's not the person who walks to prove that walking is safe. It's the person that randomly thinks that walking is bad for you to prove how and why that could possibly be the case. That's the side quest. Number 11 is to build a potato prep system, because you're going to be eating potatoes all the time. What I like to do, and this has been massive for me, is a rolling potato prep system, because I know I'm going to eat it every single day. So I just cook up a huge tray of sweet potatoes pretty much every couple of days when I run out. I always have sweet potatoes roasted in my fridge, and I just shove them in the air fryer when I want to kind of re-roast them. I like doing it in this manner because I can kind of set it and then forget it, walk away, come back in an hour, and they're perfect. And I flippin' love the taste of roasted sweet potatoes, especially the Japanese variety, which we call kumara. I mean, we call all sweet potato kumara here. But if I'm not going to do that, then what I will do is steam a big batch of potatoes in my pressure cooker, and I kind of alternate between these two, but I most of the time just roast stuff, because that's easiest for me and I prefer the taste that way. Always having potatoes in the fridge means that it's very easy to throw together a meal, because that is going to be the component, that kind of starchy component, whether that's potatoes, whether that's rice. But I would always go to potatoes just because it is more satisfying and lower in calories than the rice, the quinoa, the beans, all of those other things. It just means that you can throw your component bowls together very, very quickly, because you have the element that takes the longest to cook already always there. So it's an environmental change that makes it more conducive for you to do the behaviors that are going to lead to long-term success, which is what we're all about. That's literally all we're trying to do. And then finally, number 12 is to become an action taker rather than a planner, rather than someone that tries to get everything right. Because the only thing that truly matters is action. It's not motivation. It's not planning, it's not prep, it's just action, which means that you have to put the vegetable in your mouth. You have to put the potato in the microwave. You have to eat the component bowl. You have to actually say no at the event. It doesn't matter how much you watch a video like this, if you don't take action from it, then nothing is going to change. You don't need more recipes. You need to eat a potato. And when you start to change your behavior and build habits, it's not going to feel perfect, and it's going to feel messy. And if you embrace tiny habits like just walking through the gym door, or putting on your running shoes, or putting a potato in the microwave and eating that with whatever else you're eating, and just eating a veggie box, it's going to feel like it's too small to actually have a result. But what happens is that by taking consistent action, you build that trust in yourself that is currently not there, so that you can go on to bigger and better things. And building trust with yourself is the most important factor when it comes to any kind of goal, because you have to know that you can say you're going to do something and that you will follow through and do that. And if you have not done that in the small things, then you need to get smaller, and you need to take more consistent action by making it smaller, by making it easier, so that you can bridge that gap between where you are today and where you want to be a year from now. And if you want to know more about building trust in yourself, then I did a whole podcast episode about this, which I'm going to link in the description. Well, that's it from me today. I hope that you found these habits helpful. Let me know in the comments which of these you're going to go and take immediate action on, and then come back once you've done it and put a reply in the comments that you actually did it. It's going to give you a ton of dopamine, and why don't we get some celebration going for the people that actually do take action in that comment section. I would love that for you to be you, because I would love for you to actually get out of the 90% of people who will just watch endless videos and into the 10% who actually do something about it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week for another video. Okay.